Now more Stone on Air.
The beautiful sounds in my head.
StoneOnAir.com.
You're back with the Stone on Air podcast. My name is Brian Stone, the Christmas edition of the show. Thank you for finding it. This is my favorite Christmas song ever, and it's not even a little bit about Christmas.
No travel plans, no shopping malls, no candy canes, no Santa Claus. For as the day of rest draws near, it's just the two of us this year.
It's a song about absolutely adoring the person you're spending time with. It doesn't have to be at Christmas, regardless of who that person is.
No silver bells or mistletoe. We'll kiss and watch our TV show. Now come to you, now sing to you like it's Christmas in the room. Now dance with you, now laugh with you till it's Christmas in the room.
It's impossible to think that it was 4 years ago that I was spending time with somebody I was quite fond of at the time, and it's like, we got to go see this show at Track 29. Soup. What are you talking about? Who? Fine. Okay, I'll go. And even at the time, knowing that what this whole situation, my life situation, was probably not going to last a lot longer, I did it anyway. And it's very rare you see a show, and it was his Christmas, it was Sufjan Stevens, it was his Christmas show. And it's very rare you hear a song, and as soon as you hear it, you're like, holy bleep. Oh my God. That's incredible. Like, usually you need a couple spins. Usually. And that's when I heard this song, I was like, okay. Sorry for being skeptical and cynical about this situation. This is pretty cool. So, 4 freaking years ago. Time flies, and it ain't got a thing to do with whether you're having any fun or not. Recording the podcast live to tape in my garage, the Christmas edition. Thank you for finding the show with me today. Nick Lutsko and Greasy Rick are my guests. We'll play another cut from The Nightmare Before Christmas that he'll be playing both at JJ's and where in, you said in Valdosta, right?
We're playing Ashley Street Station.
Street Station.
December 23rd. We played it in a couple nights before Halloween, or I guess the night before Halloween earlier this year, and it was a lot of fun. It was a Sunday night.
So all my loyal listeners and watchers and followers in Valdosta, I appreciate you being here, as well as everybody in Chattanooga, and you can check that show out later in the month. And then coming up on
a week from today, not a week from whenever you're listening, but December 17th.
Yeah, that's the tricky part of these podcast world. Wait, I'm listening on January 3rd. You mean it's next week?
Yeah.
So December 17th at JJ's, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I hope this doesn't come across as a weird question. I'm gonna ask you one question, and then we'll play another tune from the soundtrack and the score. I've had this in my head for a while to ask you. I got to frame this right. People like Tim Burton and real creative, sometimes dark minds that come up with incredible artwork, whether it be music or puppetry or Wayne White, things like that create things that what it will call quote unquote normal people couldn't do.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so fascinating. And I know a lot of different types. I know normal, everyday 9-to-5ers. I know people who live bizarre lives, regular lives, whatever. And it's to do a lot of the things that you do, your mind has to be in a lot of different places that I would call the normal person isn't at. But you live what, if you look from a Facebook snapshot world, a pretty normal kind of life, it looks like. I mean, and Nick Lutsko, good old American boy over there. We got holidays, and he's there with a smile on his face. Hey, family photo, all this stuff. Is there a figurative, switch in your head that you can flip and go into the basement or go into your room or go into where you've got your stuff, and you can actually, kind of get into that place to create the music and the thoughts and the ideas that you do? I mean, how do you balance that? Because to me, it's fascinating. I don't mean this in any kind of way other than fascination.
No, I got you, and I can see how that could come across. I I don't like live alternate lives or anything like that.
I didn't mean to imply that you did.
But I could see how. I mean, you could probably say the same thing about all those other guys you mentioned. I think a lot of people are a lot more creative than they give themselves credit for.
That's probably true.
And I think what it really comes down to, at least what it comes down to for me, is like just trying new things and then like continually forcing yourself to go out of your comfort zone and write songs you couldn't see yourself living, or create a character that you've never, you know what I mean? Like I look at someone like Wayne White and I'm like, man, how does he do that? And then I go to Hobby Lobby and buy some crap and make some puppets that I didn't think I was capable of making, and I learned his situation was pretty similar to that. And even, Greasy, which I made a very makeshift, crappy-looking version of Greasy, and he took it and turned it into something. You know what I mean? Like, I think it just kind of takes
Greasy,
that initial taking off point.
Are you a weirdo like us, or a little bit, too? We all got a little weirdness in us, right?
No, just 9-to-5 kind of guy.
9-to-5 dude that just puts on a Muppet head and plays on
9 to 5 weirdness, and then 5 to 9.
The main reason I ask,
husband.
The main reason I ask is because, growing up, I played music. I always wanted to do, artistic kind of creative things, and I actually, at one point, deliberately said, let's live a life that's interesting. Let's live a life that's different than everybody else. I mean, I can tell you about if I had, and there's a lot of downfalls to that. Trust me, a lot. But I mean, if I had, wife, kids, 5-year-old, had a ball game over the weekend, and then a birthday dinner on Sunday. Okay, great. I mean, good for you. Good for that life. But there ain't a damn thing I can create out of that to just discuss. And so I've often and kind of deliberately done that. You can call that fake. You can call it fraud. You can call it whatever you want. But I was just curious because I just see good old boy, American boy Nick over there, and then I see
I'm an American man.
The things you create, and it fascinates me. So that's the only reason I brought that up. Cool. Not to imply that you live two lives and you're dark world over here and all that. This is a Stone on Air podcast. Let's jump right back into it. The Nightmare Before Christmas is coming up at JJ's and at what'd you call it in Valdosta?
Ashley Street Station. December 23rd.
Ashley Street Station. So the 17th.
ASS for short. ASS. Ashley Street Station.
ASS for short.
That's
I like
what
that.
They are on social media.
All right. Nick and Greasy Rick performing another cut from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Live to tape on the Stone on Air podcast.
This one's Jack's Lament. There are few who deny what I do. I am the best, for my talents are renowned far and wide. When it comes to surprises in the moonlit night, I excel without ever even trying. With the slightest little effort of my ghost-like charms, I have made grown men give out a shriek. With the wave of my hand and a well-placed moan, I have swept the very bravest off their feet. But year after year, it's the same old thing, and I grow so weary of the sound of screams that I, Jack the Pumpkin King, have grown so tired of the same old thing. Oh, somewhere deep inside of these bones, an emptiness began to grow. There's something out there far from my home, a longing that I've never known. Well, I'm the master of fright and a demon of light, and I'll scare you right out of your pants. To a guy in Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I'm known throughout England and France. And since I am dead, I can take off my head to recite Shakespearean quotation. No animal or man can scream like I can with the fury of my recitation. But who here would ever understand that the Pumpkin King, with his skeleton grin, would tire of this crown if they only understood. I'd give it all up if I only could. Oh, there's an empty place in my bones that calls out for something unknown. The fame and blame comes year after year, does nothing but these empty tears.
Nick Lutsko and Greasy Rick live in my garage, as a matter of fact. This is a Stone on Air podcast recorded live to tape, and have a webcast out there as well, and hopefully start doing these regularly every week, or excuse me, the weekly dose every week, and then this show potentially every month. I'm still trying to work it out. Ivy shooting film, thank you very much for being here. One more go-round with Nick and Greasy, and we'll wrap this thing up. Appreciate you guys finding the show. It's the most downloaded, the most listened to, and most easily accessible podcast in the city of Chattanooga. My name is Brian Stone, and we will be right back.
Nobody's black.